If you're online and you see something like an offer that seems amazing, too good to be true. And mom used to tell you, hon, if it sounds too good to be true, it usually is. Consuming with intention means you see a raincoat you wanted. It's a $200 raincoat. It's $75 this weekend only. You can buy it, but you can't trust the ad. Remember, ads on anywhere, in TV, radio, newspaper, they're never there for your education. They're there to sell you. If you want to know if that raincoat sale is real, you have to take the extra time to contact the company. And if you don't know how, you can call us. We have a ready reference guide. We'll get you the number. But you can't look at an ad, especially on social media, and have any idea if it's real or not. You could see signs that looks fake. $70 for a $200 coat. Probably not going to happen. Anyone who's giving you money, those gift card giveaways, click here and get $500 from Amazon. That'd be nice. But Amazon and all the companies where you see those cards, Walmart, Costco, these are multi-billion-dollar companies. They didn't get that way giving you gift cards. They came that way because you're giving them your money. So when it sounds like, oh my God, why would anybody give me something for nothing? The answer to the question is obvious. They won't. This is a scam. When in doubt, don't engage. Delete. Hang up. If you made a mistake, you'd rather err on the side of caution. Any gift card giveaways, investment offers, you never invest with somebody you met online. If you've never invested before, you wouldn't start with crypto. If you've never invested, maybe you want to buy a 2-year government bond. Well, you wouldn't do it with a stranger. You'd find somebody. If you don't know somebody, somebody you know knows somebody close to you, not strangers. Certainly not somebody we meet online. And if you are an experienced investor, again, you find a great offer online, you wouldn't invest with that person. You go to the person you know when you're investing. Say, I'm looking into crypto. How can I do it safely? Consuming can't be guesswork. I can't guess the link's okay. I can't guess the phone number calling me is okay. If I don't know, I have to be in control and not take it. Anything online on social media, it's hard to know if it's real. You can buy it safely. The police departments have community liaison officers, and they recommend that if you're buying something from somebody you met online, but they'll meet you, let the police officer in your town know, set a time, and let the seller know you'll be meeting at the police station because you feel safer that way. If the meeting is at 10 o'clock and they don't show, that's because you were talking to a scammer. And then we're going to talk a little bit about imposter accounts, romance scams, investment scams, but direct messaging. There is no reason for us to be engaging with our messaging through social media. You've got email, you've got text with your phone number. There's just so many potholes on social media texting. One of the most popular scams is on your direct message, let's say your Facebook Messenger, a video. Oh my God, you must be devastated. I didn't just heard about this terrible accident. Who died? If somebody close to you died, don't you think you'd know somehow other than some video from a stranger on direct message on Facebook? Of course. I just tell people, if you send me messages on Facebook or social media messaging, trust I won't read them. Assume that. And if you don't know me well enough to have my phone number, my email address, well, then I don't need your message anyway. So caller ID is a tool like our phone and like the links. We've been using it wrong. It's actually wonderful. How can I say that? When they fake the caller ID, it can say that Ben Merens is calling you tonight. I won't be. It can say the Pope's calling you tonight. He won't be. It can say you are calling yourself tonight. You won't be. There is a plan, Stir and Chicken it's called. It's a federal effort with state governments involved trying to standardize caller ID. But it's not there yet. So if you get a call from caller ID, you can never know on its face it's real. If you use it as your primary indicator of who you're getting a call from. This is a different world today. So what do you need to do with that? Schedule your calls. 2 examples that apply for us. One is your friend's going to call you, Mary, Saturday. Okay, ask her to call you around 10. So when the phone rings around 10 and Mary's name is on caller ID, it is the secondary indicator, but it's using caller ID safely. The other is we don't have all day to wait for the doctor's office to call with the test results, and we are of the generation, we get a lot of them. So it is incumbent on us to deal with our doctors differently and the nurses. And I would say to your nurse, I would like my test results, and I know that you've got lots to do. Can you put on your calendar that you'll call with my test results tomorrow between 2 and 5? That way you've got 3 hours with which to get to me, and I only have 3 hours with which to trust the caller ID. And if your doctor happens to work with Ascension and they give you any pushback, you say, listen, I'm still trusting you with my data that was breached in your computer. So you could do a little to help and help me not be fooled again. And I don't know Ascension's calling me when it says Ascension unless I've scheduled the call. And we could do that. And we should. Consuming with intention, taking control of the flow of your communication, and letting others, friends, small, medium-sized, and large business know communication has to change because the world has changed. And we want to be safe. Anyone calls, is this Ben Merens? My answer is usually, who is calling? Not yes or no. And then based on who they say they are, I'll decide to talk to them or not. I don't tell you not to answer the phone all the time. But how much protection, how careful you want to be, that I do want you to consider. That way you're answering the phone with intention, or you're not answering the phone with intention, but not because, oh, I've always done this. Artificial intelligence, you know, the jury's out. I asked Siri to take me to St. Mark's, got right here, told me within 2 minutes what time I'd be here, gave me options. Hell, if I want to go to a restaurant on the way, it would have told me where the restaurants are. AI can be good, but AI can also be, hi, Grandma, this is Ben. I'm at my friend's house. My car was hit. I'm really scared. I need a credit card for the tow truck. Well, what grandmother could refuse that? Well, I do tell people, if you get a call like that from anybody who you supposedly know, and it's coming up in the slide, but I'll tell you now, we call it the grandparent scam because we don't have room enough on the slide to call it if anybody you care about calls you in an emergency scam. Because that call's not just from a grandson to a grandmother, it's from anybody to anybody you know, and anybody you know to you. Sometimes it's like a college roommate. You haven't talked to them 25, 30 years, and they're in Ecuador without their passport, and they're calling you for help. Really? They have nobody else to call? Of course you'd hang up on that. But not everybody has, and it's become a pretty popular scam. So we need to be careful as AI gets better, because AI can be used to mimic a voice. So again, if they mimic my voice perfectly to you and you're my grandparent and I call you asking for money, you have to do the hardest thing you'll ever do, hang up that phone. Call the person back, whoever it was. If it's your grandchild, best friend, college roommate you do talk to regularly, those names and numbers should be in your phone, and that's the number you call back on. And if they answer, most likely they're not in the ER. You'll be upset and they'll want to know why, and you'll tell them, and they'll say, what do you mean ER? I'm home reading a book. The scam works because we're not in the control of the flow of our communication. AI can be, it can be as bizarre as there are people who believe they're having an affair with Brad Pitt or Jennifer Aniston. That in itself should tell you there's a scam afoot. But if you didn't get the memo, when they ask you for help with some money problems because theirs is all tied up in Bitcoin. Are you kidding me? A famous actor making millions per movie or on their TV show, and they're asking me for money. Have you not wondered why some Hollywood superstar would be interested in having an online affair with someone of our ilk, our age, our weight, our condition, our everything? I talked to a man, not that far from here. He was somebody's son. Parent was concerned. And I I said, why do you think this young, ravishingly beautiful woman, according to the picture your mom talked to me about, would be interested in you? And she told me, you're 65, you're kind of overweight, you don't exercise, you pretty much stay home all day. What's your appeal to her? And he said, I never thought of that. Yes, I know. That's why you're in the middle of the scam. And the mom was worried you're going to give her all this money. Fishing is just, when we fish, we toss it with an F, but same thing. You toss the hook with a bait and you're sitting there and all of a sudden you feel a little jiggle. Oh, you move your worm, you jiggle some more, a little more, and then you get a bite, sink the hook. Now you got the fish on the line. That's why they call it fishing with a PH. So the guy who says, oh, I talk to scammers all the time because when they talk to me, they don't get anybody else. And I tell them that's a mistake. When they talk to you, they're keeping notes that you'll talk to them, and they're going to eventually steal from you, even though you think you're too smart for them. Don't think that. If you would not knowingly engage with a criminal at your kitchen table over a cup of coffee, why would you talk to a stranger who called you on the phone or emailed you? You're not safer with the anonymity of the internet. We are often comforted by the fact, oh, I'm not face-to-face with this person. You don't know who they are. You'd rather be face-to-face. So the scammers have been in business long enough that we should thank them for one thing, and that's when they ask us to pay them. Because what they're doing is screaming, I'm a scammer. How do you know? Please pay me by depositing this $2,000 you owe us at the local Bitcoin machine. That's a scam. You would never pay with Bitcoin. Oh, I need you to pay me through gift cards. That would never happen either. I need you to send me cash. Wasn't a good idea when we were kids. Not a good idea now. The most bizarre, but yet nothing should surprise any of us, right? Weird things happen. You are under the impression you owe 10 grand to the government and they're going to come pick it up. And you're told they need to put it in a shoebox, wrap it in duct tape. When the black sedan rolls up to your door, not before, then you leave the house. When you walk to the car, the rear passenger window will go down just enough to put the box in. You're not to talk to the driver. You're not to look at the driver. You quickly put the box of money in the back seat and go back in your house. We'll call you within an hour. People fall for this. Sometimes they're in the middle of it. They call the police, and the police are there. But again, who's picking up the money? Not the scammer. Some poor kid who said, yeah, I'll go pick up a box for $50. That's easy money. Didn't do anything wrong. If that payment method smells, that should ring bell. And again, we may be in the middle of the scam before we figure it out. No worries. This isn't about IQ, it's about EQ, and the scammers get us. As long as in the middle of the process, at some point, you realize this is wrong and get away from it. And if you don't, at the end, we talk a little bit about how we can help you, but avoiding it until you've finally given the last piece of information or the money, you can avoid it. No one gets scammed if they don't actively participate. You can avoid this. Government scams, the scams, these are quick cons. These examples are government. They could be from anybody. For the most part, big companies, most mid-sized and small companies, most state and local and federal governments won't call you. They don't have the personnel. But imagine you get a call from Social Security. If you get these calls at night, what do you know about federal employees? People fall for it. But let's say it's 2 in the afternoon. Good afternoon, I'm Bert Smith. I'm calling from the Social Security Administration. I'm so sorry to call you about this, but I think you want to know your account's been suspended. Now, it only takes about 3 months to fix it. I need to get some information from you. I'll send you the information kit. You fill it out. And again, 3 months later, everything will be fine. And as they slowly feed the bait, they hear your fear and your words and your breathing. And they say, you know, you sound like a nice person. I can't do this for everybody, but if you want it done immediately, we can do that today. But, you know, it costs. What's it cost? There's no going rate. The amount of money you get asked for is directly related to the amount of fear you've let them know you have over the fact your Social Security has been suspended. and you're so scared you're going to stay with it. You want to hang up. Social Security won't call you. If you're worried, if you got a problem with Social Security, you have to contact them, which you can do. It's not easy. And if you want a meeting with them, you can set one up, but they won't call you out of the blue. And if they mail you something, you still need to check that the logo, font, letterhead, and everything else is real, because they can fake all that these days. I tell you all this in a very short period of time, but please remember, as I'm telling you, most letters you get are not fake. All right? Most moments of your life will not be scam-filled, but there's enough of it out there. This is critical education. We're just getting it later in life than we should have, but we didn't know to learn it before. Medicare, we know how big they are. They're not calling you. And if you're a consumer with intention, anything you get, email, text, letter about healthcare, throw it out. Do your own investigation. You want to know if this is the right healthcare plan for you, study it, look into it. If you're not sure how to look into it, call our 800 line. Call the Better Business Bureau. Look at Consumer Reports. There are ways to actively consume information. And when it comes to our healthcare, boy, it's critical. And this, it's challenging and not easy. And there are people to help us. One thing about getting information I talk about a lot is that we have more false information coming to it, more information today than ever before. More false information with no editors, overseers, source checkers. So we don't know if it's real or not. So, the third thing, we have access to more expert information about almost everything we need information about than we've ever had. Consuming with intention means get the expert information. You want to know how to set your phone, and there's a slide for it, but I'm cheating, going ahead. You want to know how to block calls with it? There's settings. Don't ask your son-in-law, your friend who knows about phones. Go to your phone company. You have a contract. Ask the experts for healthcare, for your phone use, car repair, whatever it is. Beware of the free advice. We often get what we pay for. But you can also seek out experts who will give you free advice, but you know you're talking to somebody whose advice you can trust. The FBI call, because it's here, I'll tell you about it, but they called to say there's a warrant for your arrest. We're coming tomorrow morning to arrest you, as if to let you know you want to shave and cut your hair and get a nice dress and look good. If there's a warrant for your arrest, they don't call you, they arrest you. But imagine you've never been in trouble with the law and you get this call and you're scared to death because you don't want to be perp walk down the street with your neighbors watching. And they offer you the chance to pay a hefty fine and avoid going to court. Now, at this point, because you were scared to death, but you're willing to write the check or give the credit card. It doesn't work that way. If you're getting arrested, they won't call you. If you owe money to the IRS, they won't call you. If they send you a letter, you need to confirm it because that letter can be faked. But what you know for sure is if you owe back taxes, they don't call you. And if they say you owe money, you have the right to set up a meeting, which you can do, meet with them with an accountant, and look over your back taxes. You'd never get a call 8 o'clock on a Tuesday and have to pay money to the IRS. It doesn't work that way. So we also train the police. And, shh, I'm busy. I don't know, maybe you didn't hear it. I hear voices every once in a while. So this police officer in Madison, where they have XL Energies, got a call from XL Energy. And she'd been through our training. She was told that her utility bill hasn't been paid. It's like $2,500 overdue. So that's like a year. And they're in the neighborhood turning power off. And at that minute, looking out the window was an XL Energy truck coming down the street. She ceased being a police officer at that moment. It was the middle of winter. She was the mother of the 2 boys, and she just couldn't, in good conscience, let her boys go to bed with no heat. Well, they don't turn your heat off in the middle of winter. She could look at her checkbook and know she paid her bill. She could have hung up and called the electric company back and asked, "Did you just call me?" No. She could have asked the truck driver outside. We are all right here right now, emotionally centered. But if you're really scared you owe a lot of money, you're over here. Or really excited you won a lottery that you didn't even enter, you're not thinking clearly. We want to keep you here. These kind of scams get you off the center. And the police officer with the training, who quote unquote should have known better, it's not IQ. It's the feelings of care for your children, far, far stronger, and that's why she got taken. Somewhere, there's a button where this is going to work, right? Yeah, if you want to move it up one, because it's gone to sleep. Thank you. Yep, one more. No? Just the arrow on the bottom of the keypad by the right. No? There we go. So, if you have any questions about your computer, please go to your computer specialist, right? Apple, Best Buy, the computer store down the street. My friend got this call, and they woke him. They said they were with Microsoft IT, and his computer was full of viri, and his hard drive could crash, maybe today, maybe at the end of the month, certainly by the end of the month. So the man got money from him, had him put it in a Bitcoin ATM. And then at the end of the phone call, he said, when you go home, everything on your computer will be fine. And it was fine when he went to bed the night before. When he got that call, he should have hung up on the man. He could have gone right to a Best Buy or an Apple or a computer store, and they would run a virus scan. We can do it ourselves, but if you're not tech savvy, I don't even tell you about it. Get an expert. Let them look at your phone or your computer. And know that Microsoft's not going to call you. So all those cons we've talked about so far are called short cons. 5 minutes, they get you. In the case of my friend with the computer scam, 5 minutes he was hooked. 2 hours it took to get him in the car, go to the bank, get the money, go to the ATM, all the stuff. But it was a quick hit. The only long con we talk about is this one. It's the romance scam. It can happen to kids. It can happen to adults because we meet online. With kids, most of us met at dances, student unions, parties. But today it's a lot of online, and you can meet someone online and live happily ever after, but you better be very careful doing it. So I got a call from a woman. She's from South Milwaukee, and she said for the last year, she's been in an online relationship with a 30-year-old rock and roll musician from South Korea. She'd been divorced for 20 years. People live alone are more susceptible to getting scammed. In Judaism, we talk about tikkun olam. That means to repair the world. It is not incumbent on us to repair the world en masse. We're told it's incumbent on us to repair the world through tikkun olam, through small acts. Because small acts by a lot of people will fix the world. So, if you know somebody who lives alone, try to call them once in a while, because living alone doesn't mean living lonely. But if you are living alone, it's more likely you could be prone to loneliness if no one ever calls you. And then you get the call from the stranger, but he sounded so nice. And then mom and dad find out that Aunt Gert's been giving $6,000 to this friend she met on the phone. We can all help those who live alone not be bigger targets. So the woman told me she'd been divorced for 20 years, and I said, well, I'm pretty skeptical, but let me ask you, why do you think a 30-year-old would be interested in a 65-year-old? She goes, well, I exercise a lot. I've got the body of a 50-year-old. I said, well, I'm still doubtful, but let's go on. So in the year you've been going out, you talk on the phone how often? She goes, oh, we've never talked on the phone. I'm like, what? She goes, well, because of the time difference. I don't know too many 30-year-old rock and roll musicians who go to bed at 8 o'clock at night. So that didn't make any sense. I said, it could still be real. The real challenge here is, have you given them any money? And she was under the impression she was meeting him in South Korea on the ambassador program. She had sent $12,700 for the program and the plane ticket. When we finally got to the end of the call, she said, I realize this is probably a scam, but I got something for my $12,700. What? I asked. I couldn't believe she goes, I've been so lonely for 20 years. And for the last year, it felt like somebody really loved me. So it got that for my money, and that was worth it. Mm-hmm. The scammers will manipulate. They're cruel. They're talented. They could do good, but they don't. And as we live longer and live alone, we have to be more careful about how we communicate. Because had she been more careful, she never would have had this happen to her. It happens with your permission because you engage when you shouldn't. And if you're meeting someone online, you've got to be extra careful whether you're romantically meeting or you're meeting to buy something or sell something. Anonymity is not our friend. It may make you feel safer. It also means that you have to be a little more careful, which you can do. If you didn't enter it, you didn't win it. Grandparent scam, we kind of covered it. Anybody calling you because of AI, it could be the real voice. It could just be, Grandma, this is Dad. Like, what? Benny, what? Click. Oh, my God. Anyone have a car more than 5 years old in this room? Go on, raise your hand. I need to see it. Here's why I ask. Normally, half the room, our cars last longer. So imagine you've got one of those old cars and you get this call. Good evening, sir. My name is John. I'm from the Elder Auto Warranty Program. I don't know if you've heard of us, but we're aware that the car in your garage is more than 5 years old and we want to help. Boy, oh boy, that hook is in right now. I have a car, it's more than 5 years old. They know. They have no idea. But 50% of the time, on average, they're right. If your car is brand new, you hang up. You got a 6-year-old Volvo in your garage. Like, really? The Elder Auto Warranty Program recognizes older cars do break down and cost a lot of money to fix. How would you like to pay $100 per service, every brake job, every muffler repair? How about you need a new transmission? $100. The Elder Auto Warranty Program offers that. It's a $1,500 warranty, and if you can say yes right now, I'll save you 500 big ones, only $1,000. You may want to talk to your spouse or think about it, have me call you tomorrow, and that's fine. The discount is on the first call only. I don't run the company. I'm just trying to make a buck. Please. You want a warranty for your old Buick? Call a Buick dealer. Find out if they offer them, who they recommend. Do the consuming of information with intention. Then this could never get you. And again, if you're home at 8 o'clock on Wednesday and you're watching a Gunsmoke rerun, and somebody knocks on your door to sell you a car warranty, you let them in the house? No. Why would you take the phone call then? Why would you respond to the email? If you wouldn't let them in your door, your front door, it's not safer to let them into your phone or your computer. We just have to think of it that way. Charity scams. The Bureau of Consumer Protection is all for charitable giving. However, you can't know if the call is real. So if you get a call from a charity, if you want to listen to it, fine. Don't give them any money. If you want to be totally safe, don't take a call from a charity. If you want to give it to the charity of your choice, good. Do it with intention. Contact them. Find the safe way to give them the money, cash, credit card, check, online portal, go to their office, but do that all with intention. And I'm sorry for the charities that call us, but given the world we are in today, you can't know it's a real call. So therefore, you can't take it. Anyone who offers to invest for you, if you don't know them, thank them and move on. The pig butchering, I don't know, I wish they called it almost anything else, but if I don't mention it, someone always says, I'm sorry, can you go back that slide? What's the pig butchering? You don't take a piglet to market. You fatten it up. The pig butchering scam involves the call that explains to you that my name is Ralph Jones. I am working with a man who, you know, if I told you his name, he's a philanthropist. He's getting on in years. He's got a lot of money. And while he gives big gifts to lots of big organizations, my job is to call people like you and offer to double your money. Any amount. Now, I realize if I were you, I wouldn't trust me either. So maybe you want to give me $100. I mean, what's $100? Believe me, you're going to get $200 tomorrow. I don't know how you could trust me anymore. And maybe you can't trust me. Please, once in your life, I can't call you a second time unless you take this call. So they give you the $100. And the next day you go to your bank, there's $200. So then you give it to them again. And the next day there's $400. And they say, listen, I really thank you for participating. My philanthropist bosses wants me to do just what we did. You can go to dinner, pay a bill. Whoa, wait a minute. I've got a $25,000 hire. Sir, I don't make the rules. I'm allowed 2 engagements with you. You've had them. I'd love to give more, but there are other people, and the rules are the rules. And this will go on till they are practically throwing their $25,000 IRA at this guy because they believe it, because it already worked twice. So they give him the $25,000. The guy finally relents. He goes, I'm not supposed to do it, but you sound so nice. And ultimately, I'm supposed to help people. And the next day, your $25,000 is gone. And the $400, that's gone too. No one's giving you anything for nothing. We'd love to believe it, but they're not. So if you get any contact about investing, don't take it. Because at that point, you're not investing with intention. Cryptocurrencies, you can see from the slide, it can make you money, but surely a lot of loss. 90 million in Wisconsin last year. They're thinking close to 7 billion in 2024 and 5.5 in 2023. None of us has to deal with this, so you don't have to worry about it. But if you were to invest in it, you better do it with a lot of intention, a lot of education, and not with someone you don't know. How do you avoid being a scammer? You know that the federal and state governments don't call you, not unexpectedly. And anyone who's urgent in their messaging or threatening, or they're on the phone and they start to push and you're not giving in, so now they yell a little and swear at you. Now they're saying, I'm a scammer, you should be hanging up on me, because nobody should treat you that way. But scammers are like anyone else. Some of them make mistakes. They get frustrated and they yell, but they've done us a favor. You just hang up. And could you be hooked until that point? Yeah. These are very expert communicators. They're the 21st century flim-flam men and women, but we don't have to be their victims. If someone wants you to do something or get something but lie about it to your friends and family, you should worry about that. If you have an online romance, and you can, but they refuse to meet you or can't call you, or all of a sudden they need money, these are all signs you should be running, if not walking away. And anytime you're in any of the situations I'm talking about and have for the last 45 minutes, if you're not sure, please call us. Our job is to help you first and foremost. Monday through Friday, 7:45 to 4:30. There are people there, and it takes about a minute for you to go from our phone answering to you speaking to the first person you're going to talk to. And remote access to your computer should never be given if they contact you. If you call Apple and you've got a problem with your computer, you know you've called Apple, they will make sure they know who you are, and they will ask you for remote access. If you get a call from someone alleging to be with Apple, saying, well, we'd like to help you fix this issue on your computer, but we need remote access. They called you, you hang up. Not that it couldn't be a real call, it's highly unlikely. None of us in this room, me included, know whether or not it's a real call, because we didn't make it. And caller ID, if we didn't plan on the call, isn't the secondary confirmation. And caller ID can't be a primary because it can be faked. When in doubt, walk away from it. Stir shaking, as I said, in this program, they have assigned $2 billion worth of fines to the scam callers, which is a lot of money, but scammers are hard to catch and make pay. But federally, they've collected over $400 million. So we are starting to catch up. This is like a race where we all started on the goal line. Scammers started the 50-yard line to get to the other end zone. We're catching up, but they had a head start. We will defeat them. If you want to sign up for our Do Not Call registry, when you call this number, and it's in the book, you're signing up not just with Wisconsin, but with a federal Do Not Call registry. Does that mean you'll get less scam calls? No, because they're not playing by the rules. But you'll get less calls, because the legitimate telemarketers, if you're on the list saying, I don't want to hear from you, don't want to waste their time calling you. On your phone, there are apps and settings to keep you safe. I can't tell you what to do. I'm not the expert. You have a contract with your phone company. If you read the tiny, tiny print, you have access to customer service. Use it. Call them once in a while. Find out if it's time to get the new software program, or are there new settings on my phone to keep me safer? Ask the experts. Again, you may have a son-in-law who knows all about it, but if they happen to get it wrong because they're really not in IT, they sell insurance, but they happen to know about their phone, you got the wrong information because you didn't consume with intention. You can hear the son-in-law out or the friend, confirm with the expert, And again, you've got a contract giving you access to the expert. If you become a victim, it will hurt. If you are in dire physical need because of this, go to the hospital. If you need the police for something that's happened to you, call them. But if you've lost $2,500 to a scam and it's Monday through Friday during normal business hours, call us first. It is all we do. The police for $2,500 will take your report. It's not going to ruin the town you're in. And they'll help you. But if you call us first, we will, and you're going to be upset. We will calmly ask you questions to find out exactly what happened. See if there's ways to fix things, get your money back. Need to call the police, we'll let you know. Need to be at the doctor's office, we'll tell you. So being a victim means you got knocked down. How about getting back up? You've been knocked down more times than you can remember in this life, and I know how you did. Every time you got back up, because you're here today. If you get scammed, you'll get back up. But not getting scammed is better. And we can avoid it. These are all the topics that I talk about. So if there are other topics here that you're interested in, safe online shopping and identity theft are the other two most popular. Landlord-tenant rights, landlord-tenant issues is the most complained about consumer issue in the state, has been for the last couple of years. We talk about motor vehicle repair, home improvement rights as a consumer. We do programs for business. Got a ID theft for veterans. So if any of these topics are of appeal to you for your group here or any other groups or where you live, there's no charge for what I do. I've got about 200 on my calendar. I'm trying to get 250 for the year. So I need your help. But I hope this earned the applause you gave me to start. I think it was great. You had your lunch and took the time to hear what I had to say. Thank you very much. Sir?
Yesterday on National Public Radio.
Yeah, well, can't believe those guys.
And I was driving from Michigan home, and they had a 10-minute section on scams.
Yeah.
And they recommended for the grandparent buzz,
Yeah.
have a keyword in the family.
Look, here's the problem with that. First of all, everyone's got to know the password and remember it. In an emergency, you may not. And I don't think it's a bad idea. If you're in the throes of this, I don't want you to engage to the point where you ask for a password. I want you to make sure you know who it is. So you hang up and you call that grandchild right back and they answer. You don't need a password. You know it. Now, if you say to me, the scammer, what's the password? Grandpa Smith, Benny didn't tell me, he broke his jaw and they just put him in the ER. In the OR, I'm in the ER, they just cast him my leg. I can tell you, I know his middle name. Right? But the story will be such that won't do you any good. So yeah, in practicality, having that's great. But if you're in this emergent situation, I'm not sure that works. And then what you're doing to make sure it's a scam is you're engaging with the scammer. And their expertise is what? To scam from you because you engage with them. My job is to get you don't engage with them. So I don't love that advice. I understand it. By all means, can't hurt you to have it. But if you're in the middle of that scam, that's really not the tool to use. If you don't know who you're talking with, you just don't talk to them. And if you do know who you're talking to, then the password's not necessary. But yeah, I know, I've heard that. Anybody else? Yes, ma'am.
I noticed that there's more and more coming through on the computers and phones to update things like printers and your computer and all that. And that seems to be more and more a scam because you used to update, but now it seems to be too much is coming through.
Everything that comes to you must be questioned. So if you get an update, iOS 18.2 or 3, I think is what I just did for my phone. But before I did it, I talked to an IT person to make sure that was the right thing to do. So yeah, being a consumer with intention will take you more time. If you get 6, it's time to update your computer messages and you want to check them. You can just delete them all and just every 3 months call your computer company. But if the message is not just about your computer, but now it's your printer and something else, you can make the time. Because if you fall for the scam, the time you put in to try to undo it is going to be a lot more than the time you put in on the front end to make sure you're dealing with the right company. The world isn't better or worse today. It's different, When we were kids, what were we taught if we're going to the park? Look to the left, look to the right, cross at the corner, go with the light. The information superhighway is a few more lanes. But today, no matter how old you are, you never go to the street and just cross it. You always look to the left and look to the right. It was good advice as a kid. It's great advice now. How do you do that online?
Now, are QRs safe? There's so many QRs now, and I don't do much of that.
What, QR codes? Again, if you don't need it, how do you know it's real? You don't use it. A lot of places you go to the restaurant. Oh, we don't have menus, it's the QR code. Well, I'll tell you what then. Let me ask some questions about the menu. And if the wait staff can't answer them, good luck. Because you should not use that QR code. You don't know it's real because I could put a QR code over it. And then your QR coding isn't the menu, or it's the menu, but it's also put a worm in your phone or whatever. This is the exception, especially with the QR codes, right? There's so many of them. But we don't know which is and which isn't safe. Most of us don't know by looking. So yeah, you're right. Be wary. Some QR codes are fine. We have them here. I'll tell you it's safe. But if I was in the audience, I don't know I'd trust it. There's no reason. If I want to go to LinkedIn, I go to LinkedIn. I don't need the QR code to do that. You want to go to see more about us, you go to our website, right? So I try to be careful with and recommend you be careful with your online engagement, because most of us, we didn't really read the directions. We got the toy and we know how to turn it on and play with it a little bit. But there's so much in there. We don't have to become experts at it. But we do need to use it very carefully, because we aren't completely in control of our technology, because we're not completely versed in how it works. One thing I like to tell my audience is there's no button on your phone or computer that if you push it, goes up in smoke. I have so many elders so afraid they're going to hit the wrong button. You're not. But if you're not sure what you're dealing with, just don't deal with them. That will tell you you've done the right thing. Yes?
You had it on an earlier screen about chatbots. Is there anything?
Oh, yeah, I skipped that just because of time. So if you go online, it used to be you type a question for help and they type an answer. You don't know who's typing it, but it seemed okay. Then it was Susie, right? And there's a little face. And now you say hello and get a real live video. Do you know who it is? No, you don't. Again, can you trust it? Consuming with intention. I want to talk to somebody at a company. I may use the chat bot if I'm on the website and I know it and trust it. But I also know that there are other ways to call the company. I may have to wait online and sit for a bit. So what? So what? You're sitting around anyway. Paint the bird on the tree outside. But again, consuming with intention is not for someone who's in a hurry, right? But yeah, I mean, how do I know that chatbot is real? I don't. So it's not something I will engage in very often. And we don't have to. Just because the new technology is there doesn't mean we can't do it the old way. I'm going to call you. What? Yeah, real phone call. I hope somebody answers there. So the 800 number, if you have questions about anything. If any of you want my business card, my cell phone, because you want to ask me something personally, that's fine. I'm just about done. And before I walk out of here, you can come up to me in the back because I have my cards in my briefcase back there. But again, to the group itself and to Deb for bringing me in and Tammy for the technology and your kind attention. If I've earned those applause now. Thank you. And in case you're wondering why I get the applause at both front and back end, I'm a middle child, so. I'd say you're free to go outside and play, but not today. There are some extra benefits if you want one for someone who's not here, by all means, take it. She asked me to